Michael, you and we know each other through Rise Up Kings. I know it's impacted your life, business, family. What are a couple ways that it's really impacted you?
A lot of it, I guess a big thing was taking more personal responsibility. As the head of my household, taking personal responsibility has been a big thing between my wife and what goes on. Some stuff and how she acts or reacts, was ultimately related to what I did or do currently. And that makes a big difference. And being and understanding that. I mean, it's one thing, hey, my wife does this or that, really reflecting on, hey, I am the man of the house. And in the end, it's my responsibility. And so that responsibility goes on in life, and understanding that's important.
Yeah.
So my first year after Rise Up Kings, I finished reading my the New Testament, and I never read more than a chapter here or there. And I thought that was a great thing. Made me a lot closer to God. Made me to someone that prays every day and reads his Bible every day from not doing that.
This episode is brought to you by Pierre Tax and Accounting, led by CPA Eric Pierre, a seasoned accounting and tax expert with years of experience helping individuals and businesses navigate complex financial landscapes. Whether you need personal tax planning, business tax strategy, bookkeeping, or financial planning support, Eric and his team are committed to helping you protect and grow your financial future with clarity and confidence. To get expert guidance you can trust, check out Pierre Tax and Accounting at pierreaccounting.com. We'd also like to thank Data Driven Decisions, founded by Katy Forster, for sponsoring today's show. Data Driven Decisions specializes in accounting, bookkeeping, payroll, and advisory services tailored specifically for small businesses and entrepreneurs who want financial clarity and peace of mind. From KPI reporting to fractional CFO support and QuickBooks training, Katy's team brings big firm expertise with a personal touch. Visit them at datadriven.coach to see how smart financial support can make all the difference in your business growth. What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the Big Hitters Podcast. I'm joined by Michael, and I might butcher this, Oghigian, who is a buddy of mine from Ruck, Rise Up Kings, and he actually is one of the co-founders of Avatar Natural Foods. He also has a few other businesses. He's a cereal guy. He's got all sorts of fun stuff going on. So I'm excited to kind of dive into it with him today. He's been on my list for a little bit, had heard about him through other people that this was a guy I needed to talk to because he's a stud. So I'm excited to pick his brain. Michael, tell us a little bit of your story. How did you wind up having multiple businesses and wind up in the natural food space?
Well, it all started, I guess, after college, I had a couple opportunities, and instead of going to law school, I moved to Vegas and started a company called Las Vegas Home Buyers with my brother. So for 5 years, we bought and sold a lot of houses together, and then split off in about '05. And I probably bought 300 or 400 houses, kept a lot of rentals. But when the economy crashed I could see the writing on the wall in '07, I took some of my money and bought a pita bread company with my current business partner, and we grew that over, I guess, 18 years into a company called Avatar Natural Foods. We bought other entities along the way, different food companies, another food company actually that did manufacturing. And, we were, I guess, growing into, we did a lot of salads and burritos into like coffee beans and places like that. Did all the salads on the West Coast for Whole Foods, and recently lost that business to a multi-billion-dollar company, and, pivoted into products that you don't need, refrigeration. They're either frozen or shelf stable. And so we kind of moved along and started making we created a company called Better Bowls recently. And then we do cookies. So we have a new cookie factory in California and a bowl company. And we do pita bread, and then we co-pack other people's cookies and are setting up a pizza muffin line. But I've done real estate, land, houses, Section 8 for many years, kept a lot of houses. And, when I was 27, I was a multimillionaire. And, with my new food company, I'm working more than did when I was younger. So, I mean, there's pros and cons with everything, but we're growing a pretty big, substantial company. We own a shopping center, a big factory, the original Quaker Oats rice cake factory. So we own both those and different big chunks of land, and doing everything from converting it to, I guess, bringing in different companies to retail companies and subdividing and things like that. So I mean, my hands in a lot of places and do a lot of different things.
This episode is brought to you by 10x Nerds. If you're a business owner doing real revenue, there's a good chance you're overpaying in areas you haven't even looked at. Things like credit card processing, insurance, telecom, and more. 10x Nerds comes in, audits your expenses across 30 plus categories, and finds immediate savings. And here's the kicker: they only get paid if they save you money. It's a complete no-brainer. If you want to keep more of what you make, go check them out at 10xnerds.com. This episode is brought to you by Rakowski Law Firm. If you're a business owner or have built a level of wealth, but you don't have your estate plan dialed in, you're exposed. Rakowski Law Firm helps families and business owners protect their assets, avoid probate, and make sure everything transfers exactly how it should. This isn't just paperwork, it's a real strategy to protect your legacy. If you haven't looked at your plan in a while or don't have one, go to rakowskilawfirm.com. One of the things I always ask when I talk to serial guys like you is what takes up most of your brain space? Like on a given day, like how do you section off your brain energy and thinking about your different enterprises? Is there any sort of formal system to it? Is it just whatever comes up that day? Like how does that normally work for you?
Well, I've been more organized with it since Ruck. I kind of set more a disciplined schedule, I guess. So, I wake up, I read my Bible, I pray, at least gives me some free personal time. Then I go work out usually, 4 to 7 times a day, 7 times a week. But that may include just cross training at the park or Brazilian Jiu Jitsu or something like that. So depending on what would I have time for that day? But then, my schedule gets pretty booked up and I try and do, I'm dealing with real estate stuff and I'm dealing with shopping center stuff and trying to put new tenants or raising capital or, things like that come up all the time. So just trying to organize it the best I can. I mean, when we're starting a new pizza cupcake line. And so then, I have to jump in and organize contractors. At the same time, I'm raising capital for our other business. At the same time, I'm dealing with the property manager for all my rental properties, calling saying, "Hey, what do you want to do with this?" Or the tenant did this, and I'm like, what do you think is best?" Usually, and push that way. But it's just keeping it organized as best as possible, but spending weekends with my kids and family and doing that the best I can.
Well, okay, so tell me about pizza cupcakes for a second there. So is that some sort of trend that I've never heard of? Like what's up with that?
So a guy from Shark Tank, he may won a bid on Shark Tank, and they don't have capacity. They don't produce the product. They made it in little quantities, so we bought millions of dollars of equipment in the last few months, I guess, and should be implementing it shortly. It can make our new line can do about 8,000 pizza cupcakes per hour, and we're a co-packer, so we make a little tolling fee, and so we make a small fee on top of each one, and then it gives us the opportunity to use more space in our factory. I mean, these aren't little places. One's about the Henderson one's about 65,000 square feet, and California's cookie factory is like 120,000 square feet. So it's good to have income and use up space to produce stuff that's not your own, and that's where co-packing comes in. We have our own brands. The brands have value. You go on the open market, you sell them. I mean, your brands have a lot of value. So, when you go to Whole Foods, you see cookies by the pound. Most of those are ours. Those are under our Tuscany cookie brand. They have some nice cookie boxes. We also import everything from like all their mini croissants to high-end cakes and apple tarts. So every time you turn around, we're doing a lot of different things at the same time. But the pizza cupcakes gives us the opportunity to, we're moving our cookie production fully from Henderson to Northern California, so it fills in the gaps and pays the overhead and gives you some good profit in between, and then you can
Mm,
focus on your brands at the same time. So,
I love that. So, okay, but the deal happened on Shark Tank for the pizza cupcakes.
but that's
And
not
then
where it's not our business. But they came
I
to
know,
us as
but
Copac.
they came to us to Copac. Okay, so I was wondering, like, did you reach out to them? Did they reach out to you? How did and who is their shark? Out of curiosity.
I don't know who their shark is personally. I mean, I've met him a few times, but my business partner Diego, he, you know, I think we got referred from someone, and they said, "Hey guys, we need some help making this," and we're like, "Well, we have contacts for the equipment. We have labor's cheaper in Nevada than like California, so and we have the technical know-how to start something from nothing, I guess." So we brought in some equipment manufacturers and said, "This is what we need. We need you to produce this." We have basically it produces on a big line. I should show you, but it's not. I can't really show you everything quite yet. But do another podcast in another month, and we'll have it producing. You see, this is what 8,000 pizza cupcakes look in in an hour. I mean, it produces a lot.
Yeah,
Not as much as like a fully automated cookie line in California, where it produces 5,700 pounds of cookies an hour, kind of stuff, just on one line. This is
yeah.
more. It's still kind of handmade, but it also does automated packaging and things like that. So
Yeah. What's up, everybody? This episode is sponsored by Von Finch Investments. If you're a business owner or investor looking to grow your wealth beyond the stock market, you need to check out Von Finch Investments. They give you access to institutional quality real estate and private credit deals without the headaches of managing properties yourself. Their model is built around alignment. They invest alongside you, and they only win when you win. If you want passive income, tax efficiency, and real asset exposure, Von Finch is worth a serious look. What's up, everybody? This episode is sponsored by ExitWise. If you're a business owner thinking about selling your company, whether that's now or years down the road, you need to know what your business is actually worth and how to maximize that exit. That's exactly what ExitWise does. They help you prepare, position, and ultimately sell your business by assembling a world-class team of M&A experts around you, guiding you from valuation all the way through closing. If you want to know what your business is really worth and how to increase that number before you sell, go check out exitwise.com and get ahead of it. So, what's your actual background? Like, what did you study? What did you do when you first cut your teeth? How did you stumble into this space?
well, I studied management science economics at UC San Diego in Southern California, and I studied Chinese and business at the National University of Singapore. So, well, Zhonglin Shi Buhao. So, I barely know any Chinese now, but I studied Chinese and business out there, and it was great. So, I was an exchange student in Singapore. So that gave me, an idea of, hey, when it comes to money, where is money moving the most? And basically, all you need is a little piece of the money that's moving. So my thoughts were, as the money moves between the U.S. and China a lot, that having a background in Chinese and business would be very good. So you're taking a little piece of whatever money's moving back and forth. You only need a little piece. You don't need a big piece. So you take
Yeah.
a little piece and you move on from there. But when I had a summer before law school, I was like, oh, I came out to Vegas and started Las Vegas home buyers with my brother.
Yeah.
And so, it was the same kind of thing. How many lawyers are there out there? There's a lot. But how many home buyers were there? There was very few at the time. So we were, had a pretty good niche, and we had, it was wide open. It was the Wild West. But if you can make, 10 grand or 100 or 150,000 off one flip, you're like, hey, this is amazing. I could make that really easy. And in the beginning, I mean, we have people, hey, here's a house. I know it's worth 150 or 200,000 more than you're paying, and I play World of Warcraft and am getting a divorce, and I don't care what happens to it. Here you go. Well, I'll sign it right over for 10 grand. I'm like, oh, thank you so much. I appreciate that.
Hmm.
So, I mean, I just saw opportunity and decided that was where we're at. I just saw opportunity, and, we grew it from there. So then we did a lot of marketing and advertising, and, you know, we did everything from big billboards to, mailers and bandit signs and all that type of stuff in the beginning. And as time went on, we grew our portfolio real well, and decided, hey, this is what I like to do. It's exciting, it's interesting, and that's how I did real estate, which helped me fund, a pita bread factory, a pita bread company purchase, and you know, growth and purchasing shopping centers and other stuff where,
Yeah.
one thing leads to another. Some skill sets, like buying houses, you understand real estate. So that
Yeah.
may lead you to buying land or buying a shopping center because you're like, hey, we got SBA loans on both of them. So, 21, we were able to purchase a $10.5 million shopping center with $1 million down, $1.1 million down. And for most people, that's, very difficult. And
Yeah.
that's gone up from about 10.5 to, in the vicinity of, 18 million. I've offers for about 18 million. And that's just in 4 years. And
Hmm.
we're the anchor tenant. So, all the work of putting in tenants, it's a lot different. You're like, hey, you learn about cap rates and cost segregations and things that can really benefit you tax wise, but also understanding that a small tenant paying a couple $1,000s a month makes your shopping center worth, hundreds of thousands of dollars more. I
Yeah.
mean, you look at the cap rate and it's a big multiple. You're like, wow, how did that, happen? So you put in bigger tenants and grow it, then you do, it makes the whole thing worth a lot more. And it
Yeah.
doesn't happen overnight, but over 5 years, we built up, what is it? 9 million, 8 million, $8.5 million in equity in a shopping center in
Yeah.
less than 5 years. So
Yeah. I love it. So let's talk about, this is a two-parter. Let's start with this. What's going really well in your business right now? Like, what are you particularly proud of? Maybe it's your team or your culture or your mission or your service. Like, what do you feel like you're really proud of with what you guys do?
this year, I mean, the last 2 years has been starting a new factory from nothing. It's like a $20 million factory. We got that up and running at the beginning of. We finally got our temporary certificate of occupancy in June, so that was awesome. That was a big accomplishment, and we started co-packing other people's brand, and now we are producing. Now it's profitable as of right now. So for
Hmm.
2 years, spending, I don't know, $15 million, we're becoming profitable with our new Whole Foods products. They're like a semi-automated, fully automated cookie line that goes for about $16 a pound at Whole Foods. I'm really proud of that. We started our Better Bowl brand, and it's grown 5,000% this year. I'm real proud of that and our team behind it. So that's
It's
pretty
really
great. So
it's a shame that that's not growing faster for you. I'm sorry to hear about the really slow growth.
yeah, well, you can always grow yourself out of business also. So it's a little,
Yeah.
it causes a little bit of stress. Hey, you're investing capital, raising money. 5,000% is great. I mean, we've made Inc. 5,000 a couple years in a row in the past, but then reinvested in our own businesses. So we've reinvested in equipment and factories, and that's where we're at. So, but I'm proud of those two things. I'm also proud of our team. I mean, things don't happen by yourself. It doesn't. It's not just one person or even two. 5 people. You may have a bunch of managers in place, but each manager has a group. 20, 40 people under each person, and those people are the people that do the heavy lifting. We just try and guide them, I guess. If that
Yeah.
makes sense.
Yeah. Okay, so on the other side of that coin, what's not going so well? What do you feel like is a challenge or a struggle you're having that you're trying to solve for?
The biggest one is out of the blue in November. I'm not going to mention their name, but a well-known cookie company. We co-packed millions of dollars of cookies for them, and then they decided not to pay us. So out of the blue on November 7th, they're like, "Hey, we think you owe us money," and I'm like, "We have everything documented. You you gave us POs, you received the product. The product apparently was good enough for you to sell and get paid, but somehow you don't think you need to pay us. I mean, there's a tolling fee, but there's also our employees, there's also our vendors, and all these people need to get paid. And for you guys, you may have a conflict on certain things, but for you not to pay us and leave us hanging, that really put us in a tough spot. In a spot we are already suing them, or we're trying to mediate, so I can't mention names, but we're in a tough spot where, if the product was bad, we could have done a recall, and I have millions of dollars of recall insurance, but it wasn't. And they gave us email confirmations to keep producing, even though we told them, hey, there's an issue with this, or the chocolate sandwich cookie gets hard after, a certain period of time. But they kept pushing us to keep producing, and we're like, hey, we need to figure out the science behind why it's getting hard, and what, the correct fat and what's going on. And it's an organic cookie, so making it's harder to fix technical difficulties than just a standard cookie.
Yeah.
You're kind of limited, your hands are tied on what you can do, what you can use.
Yeah.
And we spend a lot of money to produce their product, and then when they don't pay you, you know scrambling to raise capital or get lines of credit from your bank is tough. Even if you have lots of assets that are worth a lot of money, or brands that are worth a lot of money, going to get capital at a good rate is hard. I can go to the vultures and they'll give you 30% on your money, and it's like, hey, that's just digging yourself a bigger hole. One of my banks came in and gave us a line of credit, just last week, so that helps, but it doesn't solve the problem. So now I have to gauge what I'm going to do, refinance buildings, or even consider
Yeah.
selling stuff. So
I got. By the way, just remind me. I think I got a guy for you, and maybe you've exhausted a lot of lenders, but I have a pretty good network of guys that I think would help you out of a pinch. So, um,
yes,
that's tough, though. I mean, anytime you deal with disagreements with clients, right? You don't want it to get ugly, but it sucks when you're left holding the bill for something that you worked hard for. Like, there's nothing worse.
for sure. It started out a little slow, and they knew we're never produced their product before. When they started signing contracts, the equipment wasn't even here. So, it created a little bit of a problem, but we solved it. And, by the end, we're producing, 5,700 cases, a day. So that was pretty good. And, that we produced more than they requested early, a month before the deadline, basically. And we're like, hey,
Yeah.
we thought we did great. We helped them out of a bind. And in the end, we got screwed. My thing was cancel them in the beginning, but my business partner decided, hey, we are, we signed an agreement with them. We want to uphold that agreement, even if it costs us money. And we just never would have thought a well-known company would just tell you, screw you, we're not paying you. And you're like, okay, that put us in a bad spot for sure.
Yeah. Okay, let's talk about AI for a second. How is it affecting any or all of your businesses? Where do you feel like it's going? How are you leveraging it?
I leverage it with, I use it mainly for emails and other stuff. My son uses it for forex trading and stocks and options, which is he's 16, so I'm like, he's working on the presidential AI challenge, I guess. So he's trying to win state right now. So he's working on his own stuff. But I have some of my some of my logistics people have helped us a lot with logistics. One of my friends owns Arnott. It's like a Y Combinator company, and they
Mm.
helped us with some logistics of ours where, they can negotiate stuff using the AI, go out in the market and get you, the best, consistently the best pricing on logistics. We're shipping out cookies or croissants all over the country all the time, and they can
Hmm.
consistently get you the best pricing, and, a lot of, without as much manpower involved. There you go. So that's been a
Mm.
pretty good thing. So being able to be more efficient. I remember when he showed. It's been about 9 months ago, or six to 9 months ago, and he went. My friend went and spoke at one of the big logistic things, Daimler Chrysler speaking, and I went and showed up at it. But he showed me some stuff that online where his AI literally calls up some guy out of Louisiana. It's there negotiate. The AI already knows about what the trip charge should be. It's negotiating with the guy back and forth. The guy's like, "Oh, I want this price." The AI's like, "Oh, can we get closer to this?" And they basically negotiating. He's like, the AI is like, "Can I speak to my manager?" And you could not even have any idea that it was AI talking. And he
Mm.
came in and it negotiated the whole deal until the end. After two or three negotiations, transferred it over to the manager at his place and was able to lock in the deal. And I'm like, okay, things are changing quicker than we understand or more quicker than I understand or anticipate. But when I see things like that happening, you're like, wow, you can just look at all the jobs going away for AI, at least a lot of white collar jobs, and you're like, this is something either you need to be in or you need to be in or benefit somehow. So,
Yeah.
I mean, I have a lot of land in Arizona. It's in a little town called Coolidge, and it sits right next to an inland port. It's an inland port, so they have a lot of data center stuff going on. Where, we have like 250 acres on the highway, and you know, industrial warehouse land versus factory land's a lot different.
Mm.
You know, AI property can go for hundreds of thousands, if not $1 million an acre, but they need to make sure that it has, water, power, things like that. Our property already has all the data lines in place from another person coming in and putting, you know, black, all the black fiber and dark fiber and Zayo cables, all these, I don't even know what they are exactly, but all the cables are already on our property.
That's
So
interesting.
yeah, so it creates the power. I think on my property is the only issue, and it's about 3 years out.
Mm.
But when you look at companies like Bloom Energy, so Bloom Energy is like your self-contained gas power plant. You plug it right into the gas line in front of our property. You can have a power plant up, your own power plant, multiple megabytes up in less than 9 months, 6 to 9 months. But then you have zoning and all the other stuff that goes along with it, so it takes longer. But things like that come into play all the time. And you're like, energy and energy and AI are going together. So high tech and old energy companies are working in conjunction now where they never have, because
Mm.
power is such a need for AI. So
Yeah. That's fascinating. Michael, you and I, we know each other through Rise Up Kings.
yep.
I know it's impacted your life, business, family. What are a couple ways that it's really impacted you?
A lot of it, I guess, a big thing was taking more personal responsibility. As the head of my household, taking personal responsibility has been a big thing between my wife and what goes on. Some stuff and how she acts or reacts, was ultimately related to what I did or do currently. And that makes a big difference. And being and understanding that. I mean, it's one thing, hey, my wife does this or that, but really reflecting on, hey, I am the man of the house. And in the end, it's my responsibility. And
Mm.
so that responsibility goes on in life, and, understanding that's important.
Yeah.
So, I've my first year after Rise Up Kings, I finished reading my the New Testament, and I never read more than a chapter here or there, and I thought that was a great thing. Made me a lot closer to God. Made me, you know, to someone that prays every day and reads his Bible every day from not doing that. So
Yeah.
I'm grateful for everything I have. I'm thankful for everything I have, even the difficult times. I'm grateful for. I really am.
Mm.
I mean,
Yeah.
that's what it comes down to. Hey, God doesn't give you things that you can't handle.
Yep.
And everything you do makes you smarter, wiser, and able to help other people and teach, hey, these are the mistakes I made, or these are where I failed, or
Yeah.
I didn't fail, but I had failings.
Yeah.
You only fail if you stop trying. So, but where I had failings, and like every person, I've sinned in the past, and moving forward with life and knowing that God loves me and Jesus died for my sins is super important. So.
Mm. What's one thing we haven't talked about today that gets you fired up? Is there anything, business, life, sports, anything that gets you fired up that we haven't talked about?
I get fired up at Brazilian Jiu Jitsu, you
That's
know,
cool.
and mountain biking, but I broke my femur mountain biking a couple years, 2.5 years ago. And, wondering if you're going to be capable of doing, mountain biking again or capable of doing Jiu
Yeah.
Jitsu. It's been great. I mean, I'm a white belt, but, go in there and get beat up pretty regularly. But I have a good time with it. I do with my son. I do with my son and daughter. So we go in together. We may not have been able to hang out or talk during the day, but I could be choking him or he could be choking me, and we're hanging out. And that personal time, I mean, is something I really, really relish and enjoy. It's amazing. We get my daughter's there too, and I help coach my daughter's class. I'm there, hey, watching her and all the other, little kids. She's 8, and we go and have a great time. She's there doing it and having fun taking kids down, and whether we do good or bad, it's just great to be there watching them closely, and that's what we do.
I love that. Well, Michael, if people want to learn more about who you are and what you do, where can they go?
You can go to our website at avatarnaturalfoods.com. That's a great place to go. And, we'd love to show you what kind of companies we have and what kind of cookies we make and what kind of food bowls we make. Our main thing with our food is, supplying clean label products. Like our better bowls are better because we, use grass-fed beef, no seed oils. There's no preservatives, artificial flavors, or colors. It's clean label. It has great macros, and if you needed to make one meal, it's amazing. If you need to make a family meals together, you can. But it's healthy, and you're getting a good value, and it's like at Whole Foods or Costco or Aldi's or Sprouts, and that's just one of the products. But the cookies are phenomenal, and there's no artificial ingredients in those either, and they're gourmet. All our food is gourmet, and our goal is to have it available, financially and proximity wise to everyone. We want to be able to help people eat better, and it starts with having it affordable and accessible. So.
Love that. Well, Michael, don't go anywhere. I want to keep talking, but thanks so much for coming on the podcast, and everybody go check out his natural foods company, and then stay tuned because it sounds like he's going to be rich off of this whole AI boom when this land sells. So that sounds like fun too. So good stuff, Michael. Thanks for coming on the show.
Hey, thank you so much.